All right, it looks like we are tapped, so let's go ahead and get started with today's presentation. I want to thank you for joining us for the Around the Valuation World International Webcast for July 2025. I just want to go over a few items before we get started with today's show. First, to obtain CP credit, you must answer all the poll questions that pop up on your screen during today's webcast. There'll be 3 questions that pop up on the screen. If you have an AVW International subscription, you'll receive the CPA certificates within 7 to 10 business days after today's webinar. You'll see that in the NECP.com portal. If you have any questions during today's webcast, please use the Q&A feature in Zoom, as those will be directed to the presenter. If you have any questions for me or regarding NACVA, feel free to reach out to me through the chat feature, and I'll be happy to assist you with that. So our technical editors are Wolfgang Nies, Andrew Newman, and Pratik Shah. Wolfgang and Andrew are able to join us today. We also have Brian Jones as the advisor of the show. Before we get started, we'll have a couple items, GAC news items, and then we'll have Upasak Shah join us today. Discussing the benefits and insights of valuation outsourcing. And with this, the GAC management, I'm going to first turn it over to Wolfgang, who can assist us with some of his information.
Yeah, thank you, and warm welcome to everybody. Yeah, it's a pleasure for me to introduce our next conference in Europe. Will be on November 13th and 14th, and in Munich this year. We expect around about 400 attendees, so it's a 2 days conference. Maybe you can put the next slide. Perfect. It's a 2 days conference, 2 keynote speeches, 24 sessions, 29 speakers. Antonella Pucca from the US will be with us. Mark Götthardt from McKinsey will be with us, as well as Seth Bernstrom from Sweden will also be with us. So we have a 2 days complete English program, and in addition a German version for our German colleagues as well. So it's a nice mixture as every week. We have also a dinner event at a nice location with a band, and we also have a lot of fun during these 2 days. So if you feel interested in this, look at valuationconference.de for more information, and we would be happy to welcome you in Munich this year. Yeah,
Great,
that's
you,
all
Wolfgang.
about ESCVA.
Yeah, thank you. And in addition to that, we also have the NACVA conference coming up in September. It'll be September 11th to the 12th this year in Salt Lake City, Utah. So if you are interested in joining, contact your chapter leaders for more information, or also scan the code there or reach out to me, and we're more than happy to assist you. We also have some Around the Valuation in-depth sessions that are coming up. In your material, you see that August 18th, we have one on belief, behavior, and fraud in valuations. And then November 17th, we have the Lawyer's Business Valuation Handbook 3rd edition. So visit the AVW or NACVA.com AVW Depth website that's below for more information, and to also stay abreast to what's coming up in the future as well. You can also scan the QR code to take you directly to that webpage. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Wolfgang, who will get us started today.
Yeah, thank you, Chanda, and also a warm welcome to our speaker today, Upasak Shah. He's co-founder and director of Knowncraft Analytics in India, a trusted offshore partner for leading financial service firms. He has more than 80 years of experience in providing an outsourced business valuation service for a variety of purposes, including M&A, gift estate taxes, ESOPs, PPAs, portfolio valuation as well, derivatives, complex securities. So option pricing, the option pricing world is also a hot topic from Upsa. He's a visionary in offshoring delivering. Upsa has led Knowncraft's evolution into a high-impact, people-first organization, one known not just for his technical rigor, but also for his cultural of excellence. And he plays a central role in mentoring future managers and shaping high-performing offshore teams in India. He's widely recognized. He's delivered models for valuation, was recently featured in the BVR edition, I think in April 2025. He spoke at numerous industry webinars. He is nominated for 40 Under 40 award from NACVA and currently serves as a director of the Academy of Certified Valuators and Analysts, the ACVA, in India. So the NACVA is Indian chapter. Yeah, having that this, I'm looking forward to get some deeper information in outsourcing business valuation services. And I think Upset is perfectly suites to introduce us to this topic. And maybe at the very end, we can talk a little bit about the influence of AI on your business. I think that's challenging everybody in the room. Maybe we can talk a little bit about AI. Okay, so happy to have you here, and feel free to share your slides.
Thank you, Wolfgang. A warm welcome to all of you. It's great to connect with such a global audience today. Thank you for making the time to be here, joining us today for this interesting session on benefits and insights of valuation outsourcing. As global markets evolve, so do the demands on a valuation professional. Whether you are a part of a boutique advisory firm in Europe or a large financial institution in the US, the pressure to deliver high quality, timely, and cost effective valuation services has never been greater. In this webinar, we will explore how outsourcing, when done strategically, can serve not just as a cost lever, but as a catalyst for scalability, efficiency, quality improvement, as well as growth. We will look at the practical benefits of outsourcing today in terms of how does it help you in your business valuation needs. We'll also look at the common concerns which many firms in my experience have faced, whether it's data security, access to talent, compliance requirement, integration with existing teams, and so on. So my objective today is to provide you with the insights that can help you assess whether outsourcing is the right fit for organization and how to make the most of it. So I'll just share my slides to I'll take a deeper dive in it. So just here. So is my screen visible?
Yep.
Perfect. Cool. As in the global economy today, the demand for
we have the presenter view, so if you could click on where it says from current slide, do you see on the top?
Okay.
Top left, it says from current slide. Go ahead and click on that.
This one?
From current slide, yeah, right there. And that should expand it. Did it work? There you go. Yeah, click on that. For some reason it's not working. Let's just go ahead and go on with that. It's fine.
Oops. Just a second. No what? So okay, is it working now?
Yeah. No.
What you want to do now is up in the very top. You see where it says display settings? Drop that down. In the top left, you'll see display settings. And then swap.
Perfect.
There you go. There you go.
Perfect.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Good. So in the today's economy, the demand for valuation engagement continues to grow as more and more transactions are being executed across the country even between two geographies or two entities in the same geography. However, the availability of talent in the countries like US, the Europe is declining as professionals are not opting for accountancy or finance as their majors. Instead, they are going towards engineering, deal making, and those kind of professions. So that created a need to look for talent outside their own country. And that's where outsourcing played a major role in enhancing the capabilities, streamlining operations, and improve efficiency. In this article, we'll explore the ins and outs of valuation outsourcing with a specific focus on the advantages and the disadvantages of working with offshore providers and the various outsourcing models available in the industry. Now, the first and major question is what can be outsourced? As this, I'll touch base on the history of outsourcing. But in today's scenario, most of the business valuation projects can be outsourced. So, for example, companies in the US may require 409A. Then is across the world we do ESOP valuation, gift valuation for gift and estate, for purchase for the locations, goodwill impairment. We do valuations for portfolios for PE firms, the venture capital firms. We need to value embedded derivatives, which is seeing a big increase in the transactions due to lack of venture funding. Discount studies, which can be for any purposes, litigation support, maybe for divorce, lost profits, and so on. And then finance and solvency opinions when a company getting acquired by another firm, and then also for real estate and tangible assets. So this is a brief indicative purposes, but again, the purpose can go beyond the ones that are listed here. So let's touch base on history of valuation outsourcing. So valuation outsourcing has been in existence for last 20 plus years. Initially, in the years 20s, 2002 or 2010, outsourcing started with a task such as data processing, call centers, data inputs, and bookkeeping, and those kind of services. Then, in the early 2010s, 2015, valuation started to get outsourced by companies like Big Four, like Deloitte, and other Big Four started their in-house units in India. Then other entities like Silicon Valley Bank and other firms started using India as an offshore provider along with the US teams. As we progress further, the industry matured, the talent matured, and that led to creating hybrid models wherein larger institutions started having teams in India as well as teams in the US to augment their skill set or talent availability across different geographies. And at that time, cost was a major factor to use the talent in India. But as we evolved, the focus moved from cost benefit to talent expansion of service offerings, and so on. Then came COVID in 2020. COVID changed the entire perception about remote working. So as everybody adopted remote working, hybrid work environment, companies figured out if you can work remotely with an individual in your own geography, whether it's US or Europe, you can also work with an individual in an offshore country like India or Philippines. That created a big boost for outsourcing, and most of the companies were offering offshore services saw a big uptick in the number of clients that they served in the COVID era. Many companies which didn't try outsourcing prior to that adopt outsourcing as a viable business model as they look beyond their own geography to hire and attract really good talent that help them to deliver the excess volume at the appropriate cost and become more competitive. I'll take a pause here. If anybody has a question, feel free to ask me. So as we move forward, most of you who haven't embraced outsourcing will definitely have concerns for outsourcing, such as what my clients and team members will think. Will my clients be okay with outsourcing? Or my team members fear for their job losses? How will they work with a team which is not in the same time zone, in a different geography? How will I communicate the messaging to my clients, to my team members, to the entire ecosystem? If I outsource, what will be the quality of work? Will it be good, too bad? Do I need to train the team in a third world, in a country like India or Philippines, or what the output I will receive from my offshore team? Will my client's data be secure? This is a very critical question since we deal with financial information, which is very confidential in nature, and sometimes you're dealing with live transaction, and that can be disastrous if it is leaked outside the appropriate people. So this question have been asked almost by each and every client that I've worked with, whether it's a small firm or a large firm. This is the first question that comes on their mind. So I think I will touch bit on how this sets up, but definitely client data is secure when even outsource the data if you have appropriate measures in place. Now the next question is you want to grow your practice in an offshore country. How will you find talent? Do you find good talent who can do the quality of work which you require? Or you can expand your team in offshore location as the need arises? So these are the common 5 questions that I've come across from different people, different firms, as they embrace outsourcing. Now, what are the ideal tasks for outsourcing and valuations? The tasks uh, that are tedious in nature, like something spreading the basic tasks, like spreading financial inputs, doing research on public comparables of private company transactions, writing an industry report or company overview. Look at small tasks which are repetitive in nature but are very tedious and doesn't add too much of value. The tasks which you would like to do, but you may not have time, like reviewing the cap table information or prepping for management call, doing as Wolfgang says, option pricing models, something which is mandatory for a complex capital structure. You may enjoy, but you don't have time to go review the agreements, decode the liquidation rights, and then model it in a spreadsheet. Then tasks which are repetitive in nature can be defined in SOP so you know what the expectations will be from your offshore provider. These are the typical tasks, but as the team matures, you can rely them on even subjective inputs. Like for example, before the generation of AI, automation played a very major role. Now AI is helping us not just automate, but helping us in decision making. So the same thing has evolved into valuation outsourcing, where the offshore team can work side by side with the onshore team and add value in terms of thought processes. Now, what are the driving factors that will help you make a decision whether you should outsource or not? So, if I outsource, can we deliver more to our clients for less price? Can I increase my scope of work at a similar price? That is one of the questions that you can ask yourself. How do I add new products and services to attract more clients? So I give you a classic example here. We have worked with many firms who only offered one type of business valuation product. For example, they only did a gift and estate work. They didn't know how to do option pricing when a complex computer structure came their way. And so they had to pass it on to another firm. But with the involvement of offshore service providers who are working with multiple firms, the offshore team will have the skill set even to offer services beyond the knowledge of the underlying client. So you can leverage your offshore team to expand the number of products and services that you can offer to your same client base or expand your client base. How can I streamline the service and make it more efficient? Because offshore will help you manage your tasks. This is really applicable for smaller firms who are juggling between sales, marketing, delivery, client relationships, and all the aspects. Now, let's look at in terms of price benefit analysis. Again, this is just an indication, not on the real number. It can vary from company to company about what cost you pay to your team members in your office versus to your offshore cost. But a general understanding is that one offshore cost will help you hire two offshore individuals. So in a nutshell, it's 50% cost savings. However, there will be some loss of efficiency because they would be in a different time zone. You may have to train them, share information that may take some time. So generally, I would convey that you could save up to 40% in cost by using an offshore staff. This is very much viable for economies like the US, Europe, which is UK, and Germany, other countries where they have the exchange rate benefits. The second most important benefit would be turnaround time. Since now you can work in 24-hour time zone. So, for example, India is 12 hours ahead of the US or 5 hours ahead of of Europe or UK. You can use that extra time to complete the project in less number of days. You can pass on the project to your India team or the other teams in other locations when you call off your day. So by the time you hit the office next day, the project is almost done. That creates significant benefits in turnaround time. Now, another question comes, or what the pricing looks like. Generally, the industry averages, if you want to hire good talent from firms in India, the talent may vary from US $30 to US $100 per hour. And we can touch base this again when we look at the different pricing models available. So as outsourcing is evolving, which countries to consider? Now, when I was doing a chat with a few firms in the US and Australia, Europe. Initially, outsourcing started with India. Now it has expanded to other countries like Philippines, Vietnam, Mexico, Argentina, and other South American countries. However, for valuation services, India is still the market leader. And why? Uh, so India has a great talent pool, which has been developed by individuals taking advanced courses such as MBAs from good colleges, credentials such as CFA, ASA, CVA, even ABV from ACPA, and so on. And all the major firms, whether it's Big Four or the next Big Four, which is RSM, BDO, Grant Thornton, even specialized valuation firms like Kroll, uh, which is formerly the finance. Then we have Alvarez and Marshall. And then in the Europe, we have Crow, Forwest, all the large companies have their captive units in India. So those companies have developed and nurtured the talent in India. So now we have individuals in India who are really equipped to do great quality work in business valuation. India also have a robust IT infrastructure that helps you to protect data. It culturally it is very adaptable to US and Europe kind of work requirement, whether it's US GAAP, IFRS. Even Indian professionals are helping in providing content to best practices, whether it's practice rates and other topics. I also mentioned a testimonial from a couple of individuals. One of them has Sam Renwick, who has been doing outsourcing for the last 15 years across multiple firms. So he has worked with Silicon Valley Bank, FTI Consulting, a CPA firm called BPM in California, Huron, and now he runs his own firm, RN Advisors. And he has he's a big propaganda of offshoring valuation services to India since he has been in for the past 15 years. And now he sees a big benefit by having a larger team in India and a smaller team in the US. The collaboration has not only enhanced the technical expertise of the firm, but also fostered a culture of innovation and efficiency. The seamless integration of global best practices with local talent has enabled them to deliver exceptional value to their clients, bridging geographical boundaries and setting new standards in the industry. Now let's touch base on the talent pool. So mm, there is no government or any publicly available database that would present how many business valuation professionals are in India that cater to uh, US, Europe valuation needs. However, based on discussions with the industry leaders who are delivering such services, there is an estimate close to 25 to 3,500 professionals are in India who are actively involved in supporting US and global valuation requirements. Uh, the individuals includes in companies from Big Four and global consulting firms. Then there are specialized valuation advisory firms like Duff and Phelps, Kroll, Nocraft. Then there are many small delivery centers which are recently formed by US-based CPA firms and valuation firms. Then there are many freelancers and boutique firms that may comprise of 5 to 10 individuals supporting cross-border clients. And then there are captive valuation teams of large investment banks like KKR, and Sequoia, and many more PE firms, MNCs, and so on. So talent pool in India is expanding. Initially, it might be in few hundreds, now it is few thousand every year. We do see a big jump in terms of valuation professionals, which is also evident from the people taking certifications like ASA, CVA. CVA is growing very rapidly in India since companies are promoting their talent to get certified through a CVA, uh, accept best practices in global valuation standards, and be up to date in terms of US GAAP and IFRS. Now let's look at the overall uh, talent pool in India, not just from business valuation perspective, but what is a pool that can be tapped to attract talent. So obviously CFA charter holders can definitely do a good job in valuation profession. So India has more than 19,000 CFA charter holders. India has more than 5,000 CPA holders, of which few hundred are doing business valuation, and the number is expected to grow. Then we have many individuals who may be CFA, CPA, or MBA, but they also taken up certification like ASA, ABV, and CVA to serve the US and the global clients. In 2018, Indian government came up with a new regulation that mandated professionals to become a registered valuer by undertaking a 50-hour course and passing examination that can make them eligible to do business valuations in India. So there are over 4,000 individuals or registered valuers in India. Now they do valuations for Indian firms, but we can obviously tap that talent, train them to do valuations for US as well as global valuation needs. Now, what's the trend that supports growth in India? The outsourced valuation market has seen a big growth because of uh, talent migration from Big Four and investment bankings into valuation outsourcing firm. So, for example, companies like Nocraft and other firms have attracted a lot of talent from Big Four at senior level who have helped to expand and the overall talent size. Individuals from different industries with backgrounds such as biotech and pharma, oil and gas, manufacturing, engineering are adding finance to the skills and venturing to valuation profession in creating industry-ready talent available for specific requirements. Other countries like Philippines, which is seeing a big jump in uh, data processing, call centers, as well as accounting services, is also seeing a small jump in terms of valuation professional there. Again, these are unverified numbers, but based on Google search, it seems they have a talent pool of 300 to 400 professionals who can do the basics of valuation services. Now, just to add interesting trend here, when we look at valuation of offshoring, we believe that individuals can only do a certain type of projects or can do project to limited scope. they may not be as talented as the counterparty in our own team in the US. But recently, that trend, even Deloitte has started getting parallel teams in India. So, for example, Deloitte will have an MD in India, or partner in India, manager, senior manager in India, who would be working directly with their clients in US or Europe, and may not be even utilizing a US or a Europe Deloitte team to complete the project. That shows that they have invested heavily in upskilling the talent and making them equally competitive to the onshore talent that helps them to double their size in terms of available professional and and become very price competitive. So this is what just Wolfgang mentioned in the introduction about how do we explore AI in the US valuation market. Until now, the focus was always on automation. Even companies like NoCrop automated a large part of option pricing models, allocating value across complex capital structures. However, with AI and automation is anticipated to expand beyond the routine stuff. So, for example, how do you adopt AI to help you do a public comparable search, or help you to write a report, industry overview, or a company overview? So, there are still early stages, but definitely it's growing. Most companies or most major firms are investing in teams that are creating AI tools for fast adoption. Now, one thing that we need to be really mindful with AI is any data that is shared with AI becomes publicly available, or maybe subject to publicly available. So we need to be very cautious of sharing any confidential data with AI. Since it's very niche, very early days of AI, it's hard to understand the security parameters of AI tool, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini or other tools which are widely used. However, large companies, whether it's big four or large firms, are creating their own custom AI tools, which are housed in their own secure space that can avoid data security issues. So, tools such as large language models, such as ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, can be used for writing reports, creating summaries from public documents, or drafting assumptions. Again, which this relates to data which is not confidential. Then we can use Python plus NLPs for parsing through deal databases. For example, you can create APIs to Capital IQ, PitchBook, and extract benchmarking data from it by just writing the appropriate prompt. Earlier, we used to log into the websites, do a screening by writing the keywords, selecting appropriate filters, then review the shortlisted list of 50, 100 comps, and then prepare a selected comp list of 10 to 20 companies. The entire process would have taken few hours of work for an associate, and then a manager will have to review it. With this technology, that the screening of data can be done through AI that can extract the relevant comp, and that eliminates the name of an associate scraping the data. That will save significant time, eliminate human errors if done appropriately. Again, we are not there yet, but definitely in the coming years, that part will be automated using AI. Then we can use a combination of Excel or VBA within Excel to automate some portion of modeling, formatting, or data cleaning. So these companies have been doing this for many years. Even my own company has been using VBAs to automate certain parts of the modeling that eliminates human errors, help us to be more efficient, speedy, and deliver quality results. Or some firms are using ChatGPT's internal bots or agentic AI to automate certain processes related to valuations. For example, you can create an entire agentic AI or bot that can help you onboard a client, prepare management questionnaire based on responses that they provide to you, uh, convert that into a report, uh, scrape through your databases to find appropriate benchmarking comparables, build a DCF model, do an allocation of value, and that thing could be done through your agentic AI using LLMs, NLP, and other tools, part of the entire AI universe. And the best part is AI works with external data providers, so that eliminates the need for you to manually go and extract data from PitchWork, CapIQ, and other databases. So as we are evolving, I'm confident next couple of years, most of the work which is grinding work can be done through AI if the right tools have been developed by the industry experts or the engineering firms. And if we can use them effectively, they can help us save hundreds of hours in a month or in a year, can make us more efficient, spot on, and then we can add value by making sure that the right assumptions or benchmarking transactions are selected for valuation. It's very risky to completely rely on AI to making sure they do the right assumptions, because every company would be different. Every scenario, market would change. For example, the US government started to levy tariffs that changed the entire valuation dynamics for several companies or companies in several industries, which was real time. Or there are very nuances in certain transactions which AI may not capture. So you still need a human expert to decode what's in there. But yeah, the grinding work can be automated to a large extent using AI. So let's look at some use cases. For example, can we use AI for pitch deck and report drafting? The answer is yes. There are several tools available that can automate the pitch decks for investment banks or PE firms. And now, as we are moving to the next stage, I believe that report drafting, right, for example, writing a company overview or industry overview, can be done through the help of generative AI. And as I said earlier, benchmarking comparable selection can be done through NLPs and NLM, when they can extract data from PitchWorks, Crunchbase, Capital IQ, other databases that you may use, and reduce the time and effort spent on selecting the appropriate comp set. Just making sure you use the right prompt. If the prompt is good enough, the output would be really good. Allocation for complex evidence structure. I think there are many machine learning models being developed. Even we have developed one a machine learning based model to automate allocation of value among different classes of stock using Black-Scholes models. So instead of spending hours and hours to do that manually, just takes few seconds to allocate the entire value among the cap structure. Whether you have preferred securities, common securities, options with various strike prices, preferred warrants with different strike prices, everything can be done through that automated model. Industry research we touched base earlier, quality review. We can also use AI to create checklists, and that can help us detect any anomaly in assumption, growth rates, etc. For example, AI can make sure that whether your balance sheet ties. AI can check and find out any red flags within the valuation analysis. Or if the more you define your requirements in your tool, it can definitely help you in assisting in your quality work. Again, the idea is not replace humans or experts through AI, but assist us in improving our own quality of work. Now, as I said earlier, what are the barriers to adopt AI into the valuation world? Data privacy is the first and foremost concern, specifically for private company valuations, M&A work, where data is not publicly available. The digital data in most firms is not structured, which AI can leverage. The data can be saved in different folders, different file naming convention, and so on. So it's very hard for AI to capture the data from inappropriate file paths, folders, or file names, which can make it difficult for smaller firms to adopt AI. Sometimes clients, when we sign ELs with clients, there may be a requirement of not using a third-party tools or AI tools for data confidentiality. So making sure your engagement letter allows you to use AI tools is very critical. And then there would be skill gaps among your analyst managers on adopting AI. Some of them may not adopt AI for a fear of job losses, which is not appropriate fear, but or they may not be tech savvy. They will embrace AI into day-to-day functioning. And again, valuation is a niche space in the financial services market. So most of the AI tools are currently not catered for valuation needs. They're more catered to accounting, tax, investment banking kind of work, which is in demand, which is pretty big market compared to the valuation market. But as we evolve, as we matured, there would be companies that may tweak the available solutions in the market for specific valuation needs. So what's next? So offshore firms that work with multiple firms across geography are investing heavily in custom AI assistants, internal GPTs, workflow automation to make them more viable, efficient, and competitive. So they create value for the clients to these investments. Then firms are the larger firms specifically are building AI augmented valuation platforms, which can auto-populate most of the data rooms, benchmarking modules, creating DCF models, and so on, based on the standardized approaches. Mm, mm. It is widely believed that AI will definitely help you to reduce your time by 20 to 30% in the coming years. So this number may look small, but this is based on a weighted average expectations. For example, AI may save a significant time for the analyst. It may not save a significant time for the reviewers, and they will still need to review the output provided by the AI. So overall cost savings can be between 20 to 30% in the coming years, which is a pretty big number, and the value can be passed on to the customers by giving them affordable valuation assignments. Now we'll touch base on what are the outsourcing models available. So this is different than a pricing model. When you look towards outsourcing can be done in two different ways. One is building global capability centers, and another is third party providers. Now, what's the difference between the two? When we say global capability centers, it means that you build an offshore unit fully owned by your own company to perform business functions in a lower cost region. So, for example, you have a team in the US or entity in the US, and you go and create your own entity or a subsidiary in a country like India, where you hire your own talent in India to work alongside with the US talent. So that's the Global Capability Center. Now, GCs will definitely help when you look from a scale perspective. So all the large firms, but there's Big Fours, RSM, BDOs, Grant Thornton, or investment banks like JP Morgan, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, uh, employ thousands of professionals in India. For example, Deloitte has more than 20,000 professionals serving their global offices from India. Bank of America have few thousand people, same as JP Morgan. RSM BDO, RSM at least 1,000 plus individuals in India serving their US offices. So when you are going to build a very large team, it makes sense to have your own entity in India rather than using a third party provider, wherein you can invest in senior talent and hire senior executives in India to run the operations and align the interest of your firm. And it also helps with data confidentiality since the data is still within the same organization. However, GCCs are not viable alternative for smaller firms who intend to build less than 200 employees in an offshore location, because the cost for managing that entity is way too high in terms of local laws and tax regulations, getting the real estate in place, building a IT infrastructure, hiring senior team to oversee the operations. And so the overall cost doesn't make it viable for firms that are smaller in size or looking to build a GC or team in India or Philippines or maybe any other country with less than 200 employees. So again, this is a benchmark based on industry discussions, like what is the threshold wherein they think is more viable for them to have their own entity versus a third party provider. So what does third party provider do? So third party provider basically means a different entity that works as a service provider. So with them, you don't have to incur any fixed cost or any operational cost to hire talent or build the talent. They are solutions so providers to your requirements, wherein they can cater to your needs as and when required. You can earn things from third party provider as somebody who can get extension to your teams for a specific need, or for a small, even for a small headcount. So when you select a third party provider for valuation outsourcing, what are the key factors that you should always consider? Look at the core competence. So if you are looking to outsource valuations, you should hire a firm whose primary focus is valuations, and at least have 100 plus professionals of doing valuation services. And why so? Because valuation is a niche competence. So if you don't want to hire a tax advisory firm or accounting advisory firm for a valuation needs, because they may not have necessary talent and expertise. And when a company has more than 100 professionals specializing in valuations, that means they can cater to most of your requirements. They can also help you to grow during busy seasons. They can also help you expand your service offerings, can provide a perspective, because they may have talent ranging from analysts to senior talent who can augment your needs when you have a staff shortage. Experience. So you should prioritize third-party providers with a proven track record in your valuation needs. Looking at someone who has 10 plus of experience definitely will help you navigate through complexities in evaluation versus you training them from start if somebody is not experienced enough. Always look for references. It's difficult to believe whatever you see on Google Ads, websites, brochures. It's always good to check for references from your peers, from other firms who have used them for the evaluation needs, to assess their service quality and reliability. Data security, the very important parameter. So look for companies who have robust data security measures, that are working with large institutions who audit them, and they have certification like ISO or GDPR. This ensures that they have necessary tools in place to protect the data from data integrity perspective, data confidentiality perspective. And as somebody who has been working with large financial institutions, those institutions will have their own audit teams audit the IT infrastructure of the third party provider. So that creates a peace of mind when you work with such companies. And then when you work with an offshore provider, give preference to companies who have a legal entity in your geography, may have representatives in your geography that can help you reach out to them in terms of need. Also gives you accessibility and making sure they are compliant with international standards. So they are not mob and pop shop who may disappear at some day. They are there for several years, and they will likely to continue for several more years. Now we touch base on staffing and pricing models. So there are three pricing models or staffing models which are prevalent in the industry. The first is the full-time equivalent model, wherein you can hire an individual in an offshore location at a fixed USD or whatever rate it may be, based on the required skill set and experience. Or you can offer a cost plus model where the pricing is based on the total employee compensation paid by your offshore service provider plus an overhead and a markup. So in under FT, you can either price it based on a fixed dollar rate or a cost plus model. Both have their own benefits. In a fixed dollar rate, you know what the cost will look like, and there is no fluctuations around it. However, you have very less control on the talent that you can attract, you can retain, and specifically in scenarios where there's a mismatch between the demand and supply of talent in the offshore services location. In cost plus model, if you want to attract really good talent, you have the flexibility to attract because the pricing is based on the comp paid to the individual plus a markup. So if you want to hire really great talent, it may be expensive, but this allows you the flexibility to do that. What are the disadvantages? Fixed cost will definitely limit the ability to scale up resources during peak or slow periods. And again, it doesn't offer volatile markets or volatile scenarios, so not suited for firms which are smaller in size, but it is best suited for firms that are consistent volume, they are larger in size, who can keep their teams busy even in slow seasons, and companies who want more control on their offshore team members. You can also, under this model, you can reward the individuals who are doing really good, incentivize them for great performance, and they can help you with higher employee retention ratios. Second is variable pricing model. Um, Under this model, your pricing is either based on time and expenses, which is hourly rate, or a fee per project. So time and expenses, I think, pretty standard in the industry. A fee per project can be, you can have a fixed fee for every project you assign to your offshore team, or it can be based on the percentage of all fees that you may charge. That eliminates the need of discuss pricing every given time. So it eliminates this. The best advantage of this model is it eliminates fixed monthly costs, allows for flexibility in scaling resources or availability based on peak seasons and slow seasons, and it helps you to be more adjustable to the demands for your business needs. Disadvantages is you may not have dedicated teams that may impact consistency. This model may be costlier compared to the FTE model, which can be fixed price or a cost plus model. This model is best suited for firms with inconsistent workflow patterns in which you may have ups and lows during the year. You have varying skill set requirements. You may need an expert doing different estate work, purchase allocation of some pricing model on certain projects. So if you need higher flexibility, this is the best pricing model for you. A hybrid model, it can be a combination of fixed fee or a FT and a variable, wherein you have dedicated team throughout the year, and then during busy seasons busy seasons you can add more people on your account to expand your ability to deliver projects to your clients and keep your costs still within appropriate limits. So hybrid is suitable for fluctuating demand during peak seasons or for certain projects that require niche skills. So I've seen clients using combination of all the three projects. So for larger firms, FT models makes more sense. For smaller firms, the delivery model makes more sense. For mid-sized firms, hybrid model may be more appropriate. What are the pros and cons of outsourcing? The pros includes flexibility, as we discussed earlier, helping you to scale up and down during volatile business scenarios. Uh, Reduced uh, turnaround time, since India and the geographies may work in a different time, that helps you to pass the work during a day ends and get the work completed when a day starts. India has a large variety of talent that help you to expand your talent pool to service more clients at affordable cost. Mm. Quality and quantity. Now, since the industry has matured, you have talent that can work side by side with your onshore team members that can ensure high quality services, thereby strengthening the firm's reputation. So there are a few disadvantages that need to consider, but again, if you have the appropriate strategies in place, you can definitely mitigate those risks. First, data security. So as I said earlier, you need to prioritize vendors that are ISO compliant, have worked with large financial institutions, so they understand what is data security. Time zone issues. This is a very critical parameter because many relationships have failed if we don't embrace the time zone issue. So the best way to embrace it, you need to have enough checkpoints during the overlap times, collaborate more effectively through Zoom calls, emails, mm, communicate your expectations very clearly and collaborate to avoid misunderstandings and misaligned expectations. Frequent discussion definitely help to address any concerns, help you to progress in a relationship, share feedback, and resolve any issue before they escalate. As the relationship more mature becomes more mature, the frequency of such touch points may reduce, but definitely there should be at regular interval there should be a touch point to ensure things don't fall off the cracks. Then look for countries with political stability. You don't want to work with the economy or country which doesn't align well with your own country. So working with the enemy country of your nation doesn't help you out, can create issues, or countries with its own economic challenges and instability can definitely create problems. So working with a country that is economic that has politically economically well stable, have good relationships with your own country will help you even in scenarios where there has geopolitical tension as we witness today. But India has a great relationship with others, Europe or the US, that ensures the business continues as normal. Quality control is again the biggest concern that teams face. So if you hire an appropriate vendor with the necessary experience and expertise, you can mitigate it, communicating the feedback in real time will really help you to ensure quality is managed, having different type of checklists, uh, SOPs will make sure the quality is as per the desired level. And I always interview the vendor before you hire them. So it's not just the price, but you should look at the skill set, evaluate on a couple of pilot projects before you enter into long-term agreement will help you elevate the concerns on quality. So I think we have just a 1 minute. So in a summary, as we conclude today's session, it is very evident that outsourcing valuation services has evolved from a cost-saving measure to a strategic enabler for firms looking to scale efficiently, improve turnaround, and access specialized talent. The benefits are significant, but there is flexibility to scale resources on demand, fast delivery by different time zone, access to professionals with global credentials, and cost savings up to 40%. Many firms also experience improvements in both the quality and quantity of work delivered, freeing up their senior professionals to focus on client-facing and high-impact activities. But success in outsourcing doesn't depend on choosing the right provider. It hinges on having the right internal sponsor. A, whereas internal sponsor means a committed leader or a partner within your own firm who champions the initiative, communicates the purpose of offshoring, and aligns teams internally that will play a pivotal role in making outsourcing sustainable and impactful. The sponsor will help address change management within a firm, set expectations with your own partners, with your offshore vendor, and ensure the partnership between the offshore team and the onshore team delivers a long-term value. Naturally, there are considerations which you need to be mindful of. Does data security, coordination among different time zones, political stability, consistency in the output. But these problems are manageable, especially when you work with established partners that follow best practices, maintain robust controls, and have a track record of serving the firms like yours. In the end, outsourcing isn't about replacing your core, it's about augmenting your capabilities to serve clients better, stay agile, and grow with confidence. So thank you for your time and attention today. I hope the session has sparked some valuable ideas for outsourcing, how outsourcing may support your firm's goals. I will be glad to take any questions or discuss specific scenarios of the record. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so, Upasak. So we are just in time. Do you have any questions, Upasak? So you already touched the topic of AI during your presentation. Thank you for this very structured presentation on advantages and disadvantages of outsourcing. I can't see any questions so far. So if not, yeah, again, thank you, and have a great summertime. Thanks to the audience, and the next Around the Valuation World show will be on August 25th with a colleague from Upasak, with Dara Shah and Scott Winder, and they will talk about a more technical topic than today. It's called Basics of Binomial Lattice and its application for valuation of complex stock options, debt, and companies with complex capital structures. And yeah, it's as more complex contracts relating to private equity and private debt becomes more and more widespread around the globe, these topics are becoming increasingly important for normal valuators as well. So have a good time, and hope to see you end of August. Thanks, Upasak. Greetings to India. Thank you.
Thank you.